evening. I'm Erin.
And this is Sarah.
And this is 31 Nights of Scary Shit. Nervous. I hear those idiots out there and they're going to trip me up. All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go.
Did you start it already?
Yeah.
That's not very kind. Not very kind. Anyway, so tonight I'm going to bring you a tale of a house that was listed as Time's, one of Time's top 10 haunted places. So the address, you may recognize it. It's 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. Back in 1974, it was the site of a horrific mass murder.
Spoiler alert, in case you didn't know, that happens. Fun fact, friends. No, I'm just thinking it's funny because lots of people have seen the movie and lots of people. So it's no, I know. No. I just think it's funny that when you think of a haunted place, you immediately already know what happened. It's just all the in-between you need filled in.
That is correct. Okay. But anyways, I was trying to do an interlude. I was trying to be dramatic.
I like it. No, I'm cool with it.
All right. Okay. So anyways, so there's a lot with this. So I just want to start by saying, first of all, these are not my off the top of my head facts. I used many sources. So I used ABC News. I used biography.com, which is a good one. Reputable.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
I used All It's Interesting, which you're familiar with.
Love it.
I used a site called medium.com, and I also used dailymail.co.uk, which I got shit for. So
yeah, I'm okay with the Daily Mail, but I want to go back to one that is, for me, a puzzling one. Medium.com. First of all, they got in on the ground floor of that.com. They got in right on the cusp of websites being named. But is it medium size?
No.
Is it medium
it's just
spooky medium?
It's like spooky medium.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I was why is it called medium.com?
I believe
Is that stupid? God, I sound like an idiot. Medium size.
Anyway. Okay. So anyways, medium.com only provided a small amount of information, but it was something I must have needed. Anyway,
okay, I'm cool with it.
I wanted to just make sure I gave credit just in case anyone important is listening. I doubt it, but anyway, I will proceed. So there's a lot to this. And I also want to say, and I hope I don't sound like a jerk, now that I've done the research, I find the murder part of this, more interesting, and I don't mean it disrespectfully. I find the whole part about the DeFeo family much more interesting, much more compelling. When I researched the alleged hauntings, and I'm doing air quotes and no one can see it. But
I can see it, and I appreciate it.
I keep forgetting that. Yesterday when you were talking, I was shaking my head as if everyone's with me. Of course, and I was like, no one's seeing you.
No one sees you.
No one is seeing you do this.
No one is seeing us.
No one is seeing or hearing. They're not hearing it either. But anyway, so
maybe they are.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe there's someone listening. If you're listening out there, continue listening. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah. Well, they want me to get on with it. So anyways, I will. But I want to say that after I looked a little more closely at the details of the quote haunting, I did it again. I'm not really convinced about anything supernatural in the house. I love the story. I love the movie. I think it's a great story, but not really sure I'm convinced. So after I make the presentation here, let's see what you think, and our listener out there we'll see what you want to say about it too. Anyway, so Ronald DeFeo Jr. and at some point I'm going to start referring to him by his nickname of Butch, and I'll tell you why.
Where does that come from?
I don't know, but in at least three sources, it said that his nickname was Butch.
How is Butch a nickname of what? Ronald? How is Butch a nickname of Ronald? That makes no sense.
I don't
it's
know.
It's like Dick and Richard. Where did that come from?
I don't know, but here's what I'm going to say, that it'll be much easier for you to distinguish because it's Ronald DeFeo Sr. and then it's Ronald DeFeo Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And it just it's tiresome.
Yeah, it's too much to say.
So at some point I'm just going to say Butch, and you'll know I mean the guy who murdered his family. So he was born on September 26, 1951. He was born in Brooklyn. His father, Ronald Sr., was a successful car salesman. He worked at his father-in-law's Buick dealership. And he made a good living, made a comfortable living for the family by all accounts. His wife's
Cool.
name was Louise.
Love it.
Yeah. Now, I didn't get a whole lot of specifics here, but what I will tell you is Ronald Sr. apparently was abusive toward his
Oh,
wife,
shocker.
and the children. There were reports that the neighbors would hear a lot of loud arguing, whatnot. One detail I did find was one time he punched his wife so hard while she was carrying a load of laundry up the
Oh, no.
stairs that she fell down the stairs.
Ah.
So
No, thank you.
Ronald
Poor
Jr.
lady.
Ronald Jr. of course would witness this, and he was affected by it. He did not get along with his father from the get go.
Again, shocking.
Yeah, shocking, right? So, and it seemed like Ronald Jr. was often the biggest target of the abuse. And again, I don't have a lot of real specifics, just that it.
So he got it worse than getting punched so hard he fell down a flight of stairs. It had to have been worse.
All I know is,
Shit.
yeah, all I know is that
Oof.
he seemed to be, out of the rest of the children, he seemed to get it the worst. So,
Oh.
anyways, Ronald Jr. Okay, you can feel for the kid. He's coming from an abusive home, allegedly. He had it tough at school. He was kind of awkward socially. He was picked on. He started acting out in school around that middle school age. So when he was 13 years old, he attacked his grandfather. And Ronald and Louise decided, okay, it's time to send him for some therapy, and they did.
Smart.
Um,
Okay, good on them.
However,
I mean, clearly it didn't work, but A+.
well, I know.
For
However,
attempts.
yeah, the therapy didn't take, and I don't know how long he stayed in therapy, but apparently they allowed him to basically make the decision of, nope, not working for me, and they allowed him to stop.
And so it started good and quickly went bad. Okay.
Yeah. Now, okay, so he's not in therapy anymore, and his parents decide to use a different approach because the
Oh,
therapy
God.
didn't work, and they decide now they're going to shower him with gifts and
Why
money.
is that? How is that logical?
I know. So, no, just wait. It gets better. So, one of the things that they bought him was a $14,000 speedboat.
Okay.
I know. Why does a teenager need his own speedboat?
How old was he?
I don't know. See, that's the problem here. So I think this is happening probably in between the 13 and 17 age
What
here.
the shit?
Yeah, I know. Why does he need a boat? I don't know.
I mean, I'm an adult and I don't
Yeah.
need a boat.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
does a teenager need with a boat?
Well, apparently he did. I don't know.
Apparently he was in need of a
It was a-
speedboat.
it
Damn
was-
it.
It was a thing. I don't know. Anyways,
God.
so by the time he was 17, shocking here, was not doing well in school. Again, he's acting out.
He's on the speedboat.
Yeah, he's the speedboat.
The speedboat.
The air quote, yes, the speedboat. Anyway, he was using LSD and heroin regularly. One account says he dropped out of school, and then another account says he was expelled. Regardless,
He's just not there.
Regardless, he was having violent outbursts. Now, there's no tough love delivered here at this point either. So he's 17. He's not in school, and what happens? He gets another reward. So he's given a job at the dealership. Okay, he's like 18 now. Now, he's not expected to do much there. Apparently, he shows up when he wants, comes and goes as he pleases. He's
Okay.
getting paid, right?
Okay, that's where these people are learning to just not show up to work on time.
Yes, it started there. Yes.
It started.
It started there in 1974. Yes. Anyway, so again, he's not really expected to be a model employee. He comes and goes when he wants. Anyway, he's still getting an allowance from his father, and he buys himself a car. He continues to buy alcohol and drugs, and wait for it, now he's buying guns. Dum dum
Okay,
dum.
obviously the natural progression, Aaron. I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but that's immediately where I go.
Well, okay, and I was thinking about this too. I'm wondering what these conversations are prior. You know what I mean? Prior to all this, okay, we know the end result, but don't you wonder, like, what are the conversations going on between Ron and Louise? What are the siblings thinking? Like, no, wait, because I haven't even given you.
Okay, first of all, if I was a sibling and this asshole got a goddamn boat, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Let's get this shit together.
So
please.
I know very little about the siblings other than the horrible thing that happened. But anyway, so obviously he's got a history of violence. He makes threats. He threatened this. We all know people. I think we all know someone like this though, who like does something really weird and then acts like nothing happened, right? And you go, okay, this person's insane.
Yes, something crazy could happen, and they're just like, It's another Tuesday.
The next day they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't try to run you over last night. And you're like, but okay, you did. Anyway, so
you did try to run me
so
over.
he threatens a friend with a rifle during a hunting trip and then acts like nothing happened. So there's that.
Okay, there's that. That's
and he still has friends, which was really something. He attempted, listen to this, he attempted to shoot his father with a shotgun while his parents were arguing. He actually puts the gun to his father's head, pulls the trigger, the gun malfunctions, so he's not successful the first time he tries to do it. And again, I'm going, what is the conversation? Like I don't know.
What? Why?
Yeah,
what, how? What?
Yeah, so he tries unsuccessfully to shoot him.
Okay, and let's rewind to the fact that this father, Ronald Sr., is apparently supposed to be abusive. How is he showering this child with gifts as he's putting a gun to his head? I feel like
maybe he's afraid. Maybe he thinks that I don't know.
God.
Maybe it's out of fear. I
just feel like it what? Oh my God. I'm not saying that you should beat your kids. Okay, let me roll that back. I'm not saying you should beat your kids. It just seems like an odd reaction, Ronald Sr.
Well, maybe
you, given your track record, it seems odd that you would be giving him presents while he's trying to hurt you. It's just very weird.
Maybe his mom was the one that wanted that. I don't know. But anyways,
yeah, that's a good point.
Anyways, I'm starting to kind of feel like, okay, yes, again, from an abusive home, I'm going to feel for anybody, but this is definitely bratish behavior, because here's what happens. So he now
wait, what is that word?
Bratty, bratish, I don't know.
Okay, bratish. Gotcha.
He's acting like a brat. So he decides he's not making enough money at the job he doesn't show up for.
Yeah.
He decides he doesn't have enough money, right? And he decides he's going to try to embezzle money. So he comes up with this plan he concocts a robbery. So he's given the responsibility of depositing $20,000. They give him the responsibility of depositing this money, right? Now, this is 1974. I imagine $20,000 is just huge. I mean, it's a lot to me today, too. But
yeah, shit, yeah.
So anyways, he and a buddy decide that they're going to split the money. The plan goes off without a hitch, and he almost gets away with it until his temper. So the cops are questioning him, and for no reason, he goes off. He just goes into a rage, and the cops go, "We're asking you simple questions. Why aren't you just telling us what happened?" So they're like, no, this doesn't add up. So they figure out that he actually was the one that planned this robbery. Well, so when his father confronts him about it, again, here we go again, confrontation. He says, well, why didn't you cooperate? He threatens to kill his father again. And it's
okay, so then why is it... I hate to say it like this. I'm not victim blaming. Let me clarify, not victim blaming. But he has tried to shoot you with a shotgun. Mm-hmm. It malfunctions. He then is now, again, threatening to kill you. I mean, I feel like it's then not very far-fetched to assume that he would actually go to the lengths to actually kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not the first time or last time we'll hear a story like this where the parents just kind of go, you don't want to believe it, I guess. Well, anyways, so on November 13th, 1974, in the early morning hours, Ronald Jr., Butch, using a .35 caliber Marlin rifle, he shoots his father and mother while they're asleep. He shoots Allison, his sister, who was 13, Mark, his brother, who was 12, Matthew, who was 9. Supposedly, they're all in bed. Now, Dawn, who was 18, apparently was not in her bedroom. She was awake. I'm not sure if she was standing or what position she's in, but apparently she was awake, and she was not actually found in the bedroom. She was found in what they called an attic room. So I don't know if she saw what was happening. I don't know, but horrifying. Anyway, the whole process takes about 15 minutes, I figure, to annihilate his whole family. So mere 15 minutes, he annihilates everybody in his family.
And it's with a rifle?
It's with a rifle. Yeah.
I wish I had a layout of the house to realize
yeah,
how close or far away are these rooms.
And apparently neighbors
didn't hear anything.
Didn't hear anything.
How is that possible?
I don't know, because I've heard a rifle before, and it's
it's not
it's so loud. So
It's really
I
loud.
don't know. You know how neighbors are, sometimes they just don't want to get involved,
Well, yeah, they're just ignoring
or it's
it.
like our neighborhood where we're not sure if it's gunfire or fireworks, because on a regular basis people in our neighborhood put off fireworks, or there's loud booms all the
That
time.
is the most Pennsylvania thing I've ever heard you
Well,
say. It's such a like country statement. I love it.
anyway.
Love it.
Anyway. So, okay, I don't mean to be so upbeat. I'm talking about a murder. Let's get back into serious mode here. So, Ronald gets rid of the bloody clothing and the rifle. So, what he does is he throws the rifle and the clothing off of a dock that is near where he lives. And
What an idiot.
then
I
he,
mean, I'm not okay. I'm
yeah.
not saying you're smart if you kill people, but I'm just saying
So
that's
then
stupid.
he hides the cartridges in a storm drain in Brooklyn. He goes
I
to
mean, that
work.
was kind of quasi smart.
He goes to work, and he acts like he's shocked when his father doesn't show up. He calls home, makes sure that whoever, I don't know who's there working with him, but other people are there, and he calls home and he's like, oh, I don't know, my dad didn't show up. This is so weird. Around noon, he decides, okay, there's not much for me to do here. I'm going to leave, which apparently he did often. He just took out, he just left.
What the shit?
He just left at noon. Like he worked half days. I don't know.
I don't know about you, but I wish I had a job like that I could just be like, bye and leave.
And not only did he leave at noon, he met up with his girlfriend and his friends, and he goes to a bar. So he does day drinking. He goes to a bar called Henry's.
Good
Um,
God, sir.
and while he's at now, I will say this about him: he is really trying to establish an alibi. So he's called from work and like, oh, no one's there. How weird. He's at the bar. He tries to call home again. Make sure everybody knows he's calling home. I don't know why nobody's there. Um, he also said, he tells the police later that he did go home at noon, and he didn't have a key, and nobody was there to let him in, so he just left. So, anyways,
That's
um,
weird.
so he's at the bar, and at one point he does go home, and then apparently around 6 p.m., 6:30 ish, he goes back to Henry's bar, announces to the people in the bar that his family has been killed. Some of the people go with him back to the house. So apparently some of these people go, and I don't know if they see the actual scene or what, if they see the bodies, I don't know, but people go back to the house with him.
Wait a second. So he didn't call the police?
I don't know if he called the police.
He just left?
I don't know.
He was at home and then he left?
He went, I'll be honest, I don't know if
There's no idea of where he was, but he just goes back to Henry's and he starts talking about how he killed his family.
So what he wants them to believe is he went home and found the bodies, and then he went back to the bar. That's what he wants people to believe. I don't know if that's what he did.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe he did go through the motions, go into the house, and
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, so initially he tells the police that a hitman named Louis Fellini, who apparently had a beef with Ronald Sr. over some work that Ronald Sr. had done. I'm going to assume it had something to do with cars because he owned a dealership. I don't know. So he says Louis Fellini killed the family. So the police, at the very least, buy into this, at least for the moment, or they're going to investigate it, and they put him in protective custody. However, police start to see some inconsistencies very quickly because they realize that the evidence does not support that they were killed in the afternoon,
Yeah.
as Butch tries to say. They realize that they probably have been dead about 15 hours, place the time of death somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning, meaning that when Ronald went to work in the morning, when Butch went to work, his family was already dead. So this is how they were found. They were found on their stomachs in bed. That's how all of them were found. They didn't look like they struggled. They were wearing pajamas. They also found an empty gun box from a gun that looked like it had, for something that had been recently purchased. Apparently that was out in plain view. I don't know. That seems kind of stupid, but apparently it was. They didn't have to look too hard for it. Fellini, meanwhile, the guy that he tried to accuse, was not even in town. He was airtight alibi. Then he tries to claim, well, Fellini and an accomplice came in and made me shoot my family. So eventually he just...
that just seems like a stupid fact to throw in there, even if it was true.
Yeah. So anyways, eventually he cracks and he confesses, and he says something to the effect of, once I started, I couldn't stop. So
that's horrifying. Now,
even though he confesses, though, it doesn't end there because he tries to plead guilty by reason of insanity. It almost works. So here's another. Remember how I kept saying there's all these weird, like, kind of I don't know, weird things that tie in somehow with dates and me and all that. So his trial was on October 14th, my niece's birthday.
What the shit? I'm telling you, Aaron is connected to like 18 different murders and mystery things
Well, this is
by weird dates.
so 1975 was a great year for me because I was born, and a great year for my parents because
Wow. Okay.
I came into the world. But 1975 was a shit year for a lot of people, and so
you coming into the world ruined it for a lot of other people.
right, okay,
But in the best possible way.
right. But as we've been doing this podcast and researching, I realized how much bad shit was happening the year I was born. So there'll be more of that to come. Yeah.
Just please don't start murdering people.
No. I haven't done it by now.
Especially your roommate.
Yeah, no. That would be the dumbest thing I could do, honestly. I'd never get away with that.
Never in a million years.
Well, anyway, so he tries to plead guilty by reason of insanity. He claims he heard voices and claimed to be possessed by Satan.
I wish I was possessed by Satan at this point. Not to kill people, but just to be like, see, I'm possessed by Satan. I didn't kill anyone.
Well, it almost works. So initially, the jury, there were 2 people, so it was 10-2. 2 people were not quite sure about his mental capacity. So the psychiatrist for the defense claimed he had dissociative disorder.
Oh, that's fun.
So Daniel Schwartz was a psychiatrist for the defense, and then Harold Zolan for the prosecution said no, he has an antisocial personality and he's well aware of what he did. So basically, no, he's an asshole. You know, he did this.
He's essentially an asshole.
He's an asshole. He did this on purpose. Yeah.
I feel like that describes so many people, and now I can just be like, you're probably just that is so real antisocial. You know who I'm talking to. You know. You're listening.
Yes.
You know you're antisocial and kind of an asshole.
Yes. Those people are always self-aware. Anyway, so
yes, they are.
So November 21st, 1975, he's actually sentenced to 25 years to life on 6 counts of murder. And he's still incarcerated. He's at Sullivan Correctional Facility in Fallsburg, New York. So
he's still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
God,
he's not that old.
He just died.
He's not that old. He's only a year older than my mom. You know, she's still a young lady because she's
still a young lady.
She might be listening. Your mom, you're still a young lady.
Love ya.
So, anyways, DeFeo did change his story over the years, and in one story, he claimed that poor Dawn, the 18-year-old sister, he claimed Dawn killed this is so dumb, the things that he changes. Claims that Dawn killed the father, and that a distraught Louise, the mother, then decided to kill the rest of the children.
What an elaborate situation.
Except for Butch, right? Except for him.
Wait a second. Now I'm like finding it very hard to follow. So Dawn killed the dad.
Yeah.
Then the mom was flustered and killed the kids.
Yes.
Including Dawn?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
It's stupid shit.
What
anyways.
A weird thing.
And then in 1990, he claimed that Dawn shot everyone but him.
And then he shot Dawn?
She went, oh, I'm not going to shoot you, Butch. I'm just going to shoot everybody else. So, no, it's bullshit, I'm sure.
What a load of horse shit.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's the DeFeo side of things, which is horrendous.
It is pretty horrendous, but like, he did threaten to kill them multiple times. So, like, that argument goes out the window, Butchie. Yeah. Because you threatened to kill, and then you tried to kill your dad. Like, you're an idiot. But, like, I like all the elaborate stories he made up.
Well, he's not good at it, obviously. He's not very good at it.
No, he's not good at lying. And they were ridiculous stories, but they would make great stories.
Right. And here's the thing, when
only you were a writer, Butch.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that about the writing too. But anyway, so you want to feel sorry for anybody who comes from a background of abuse, of course. But again, we've talked about this before. I mean, not everyone who's abused decides that they're going to murder anyone, let alone the siblings.
Like, literally, I hate
his poor little brother, his little siblings. I mean, that's just...
How, first of all, I just don't get how you kill children. I mean, I understand, like, killing a person is killing a person, but, like, how do you kill a kid? They're stinking adorable, most of them.
And they're like...
Not all of them,
they're
but
asleep.
Most of them. And they're asleep, so they're harmless. Yeah. Even an adult asleep, they're harmless. Yeah. But, like, I also hate when people are like, I was insert horrible thing that happened to you as a child. so that means that's why I killed people. It's like, no, lots of people experience horribly traumatic things
Mm-hmm.
and never kill a person or rape a person or brutalize a person or insert horrible thing. I
Mm-hmm.
just hate when they do. It's such a cop out. No, you're just insert mental illness or insert horrible human being.
Yeah, I mean he's an ass,
Yeah.
clearly. But anyway, so the Lutzes, we'll get to the Lutzes. So Bob and Kathy Lutz in December of 1975, same year, 1975. Now they're aware of what happened at the house.
Wow, they bought the house 2 months after the trial.
Right.
Holy crap.
Almost so like what, a year, a little over a year after the murder, right? So December of 75. Now, they're aware, right? They're aware of the murder and they decide, okay, we can handle it. It's cool. They purchased the house for $80,000.
Please sign me
They
up.
see it as their dream home. Now, I don't, again, I don't know the exact value of a dollar at the time, but I would think in 1975, $80,000 was a shit ton of
It's
money.
probably
Equivalent to what, would you say?
$400,000.
Okay.
In today. I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think I'm overestimating. It's got to be
Well,
like what?
I don't know. I can't do that kind of math.
I mean, then you gotta count. I'm about to use like terms. I have no idea what they mean, but I don't know. Maybe $200,000. I mean, that seems.
Well,
That
there's a
even
reason
seems
I'm
absurd.
mentioning the price because there are people who feel that they really couldn't afford it, and that might have something to do with the stories that follow. So I don't know.
Oh, I got you. So whatever it is in modern day money, it was a lot of money.
So the implication is, the insinuation is that perhaps they really bought a house they couldn't afford. Anyways, so they are aware of the murder. They decide they're okay with it, but they do have a priest come in to bless the house. Now again, this is all hearsay. So Father Ray Pecoraro, sounds like an Italian name to me.
He's a good guy.
He comes into the home and supposedly he feels an unseen hand slap him across the face.
I mean,
Which would be very unpleasant.
I just feel like, how do you not immediately walk out of that house if you get ghost slapped?
I know. Just whap across the
Just
face.
smack across the face. No, I'm gonna stay here. No.
Well, he didn't hang around, but then he heard a voice say, "Get out."
Yeah, goodbye.
And then he became ill with flu-like symptoms. It's always
Like
flu-like.
instantaneously?
It's all like flu-like symptoms. I don't know if it was instantaneously. I think see, I'm going on what I saw in the movie. Never read the book. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
a valid point,
So in the
valid
movie,
point.
he kind of runs out like, and he like.
How unsettling would that be to just have all those things happen simultaneously?
I got to tell you, I don't want to know. Anyways, so I don't want to lose my place. Okay, here we are. So immediately, some strange things start to happen according to the Lutzes. Now, the one thing that stands out in my mind and probably stands out in a lot of people's minds is 3:15 a.m.
Screw it.
Yeah,
screw that time.
And I have a point to make about this. So every morning, supposedly 3:15 a.m., George is awakened. So coincidentally, it seems like that's about around the time when the murder's committed. Now, I will say that.
No.
I've had this happen before, and maybe you have too.
Witching hour.
Yeah, right. So when you consistently awake at exactly the same time, it does give you the willies because you're like, okay, is something compelling me? Yeah, is something compelling me hanging over the bed, forcing me awake? I don't know, but I have had that happen at exactly like 4:11. So.
And it's probably something innocuous, like you didn't drink enough water the day before.
It is, but it is. It's a little bit unsettling, and I think that probably it probably stems from this, anyways, because I think people remember that whole thing with 3:15. Anyways, supposedly on the set of the remake of the movie, supposedly Ryan Reynolds reported awaking at 3:15. I don't know if any of this is true.
I'd awake at 3:15. If Ryan Reynolds was there, I'd be all right with it.
Yes, of course. But anyways, I'm not going to go too much into that. They actually did not film at the real house. It was not the actual house, but
I just feel like if you did, you're asking for it.
The actors were a little creeped out apparently on the set, and oddly enough, Kathy Lutz died during the remake of this film. They were informed that she died. I think it was like the first week of filming. Now she had emphysema. She'd been sick for a while, but Yeah,
Still convenient timing.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe she just didn't. Maybe she didn't like the direction they had gone.
Yeah, maybe she was like,
I don't
screw
know.
this.
And George died a few years later, so they were young. They're young people when they died. Anyway, so there's strange happenings. There's weird odors. There's the door slamming. There's that mysterious coldness, where it's so bitter cold and you can't figure out why. Supposedly George had found some kind of mysterious red room. I did air quotes again.
For all those people watching.
Yeah, for all those people watching, a red room. And again, I'm getting my movie version here where I can picture these things, but there were reports of flies swarming, like hordes of flies.
Goodbye.
Like scary plague horde of flies.
No, okay, immediately moving. If there is a scary plague of flies, or plague of anything.
At any rate, it's gross.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And then this makes me laugh. Because,
oh God. Why is one of these things making you
laugh?
All
right, when I tell you, so George reported that at one point Kathy's face morphed into that of a 90-year-old woman.
I mean,
is he just trying to say she needed wrinkled cream? I don't know.
I'm thinking he's like into old biddies at that point.
I mean, what's he trying to say here? I feel like that was a dig and not really so much.
I don't think that was a dig. I just think that was like a weird fact to include. Like, sir, what?
Yeah,
that doesn't even make sense.
Well, on the night that they finally had enough, apparently the kids' beds had slammed up against the door. George was paralyzed by an unseen force in bed, and Kathy was levitating above the bed.
I mean,
yeah. So at that point,
times.
and I even will say that let's even say it was only a dream or a sleep paralysis or a night terror, or whatever. It's still fucking creepy. Like it's still like you're gonna go. None of this shit has started happening until I moved into this house. So I will say I think that that's really creepy.
But I do have a question. How do any of those things relate to the murder? None of those actions relate to the murder at all. So it's like almost like it's a good point that the haunting is just the kids fucking with you guys? Because they also were kids. Like how could they throw beds? Yeah. Like if also they're ghosts, so like I guess strength doesn't matter, but like I just don't understand, like, when hauntings like this happen and people are like, oh my God, I was levitating above the bed. And you're like, yeah, but what did that have to do with the murders that happened?
And I'm going to say nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. But I will get into a little bit more that I did not know about George. That I just found out today, as a matter of fact. Oh. I don't know how accurate it is, but it does shed some light.
We are spitting truth constantly.
Yes, we are. Yes, it's a constant.
Don't quote us.
It's a constant research. Don't sue us. Anyways,
please don't sue us.
We have no money.
We cannot afford it. That's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, we have no money.
We have no money, so there's that.
So, anyways, 28 days later, the Lutzes leave the house and they leave everything there, which I find interesting.
Screw it all.
Yeah, I mean, on one end, I go, okay, maybe they're trying to recoup some money and they concoct a story. But then on the other hand, I go, maybe just this mass hysteria feeling of being in that creepy ass house. I think one sometimes can convince themselves, that something is happening. You know how it is. You get yourself terrified, you get yourself worked up. I don't know, but
it happens on a daily basis.
Yes, it does. I mean, I scare myself all the time. But they fled 28 days. They didn't take anything with them. So, meanwhile, DeFeo had been pled guilty. I believe he's serving 6 concurrent life sentences. Is the term I believe that's used.
Hallelujah, amen.
Interestingly,
oh God.
At this point, the Lutzes are contacted by a reporter. Her name was Laura DeFeo. And Laura DeFeo assembles a paranormal team, and who other than Lorraine Warren?
Oh yes,
Lorraine Warren is part of this team, and Lorraine Warren, of course, reported a feeling of overwhelming depression and awfulness when she goes into the house. It's a feeling. She feels that's just.
I mean, I feel like in any house where people were murdered, there is probably a low energy.
Well, that's how I feel too. Whether it's a haunting, I still feel like you're taking a gamble, moving into a place where there's some seriously bad energy left over.
Bad juju.
Yeah, it's bad. So, anyways, Lorraine Warren. Whether or not you believe in Lorraine Warren is legit, I'm fascinated with Lorraine Warren. But anyways, so
we should do an episode on that.
We should. But anyways, so they take some time lapse photos, and they don't really reveal a whole lot. The only thing that that could be seen as paranormal was there was a little boy supposedly peering out of a bedroom. Yeah.
Nope.
But that's the only
Noping
thing.
right the hell out because I don't want
Yeah.
creepy children around me.
So I don't know if that was legit or not, but that's one of the things that was found apparently. Now here's where it gets into some murky territory. So George Lutz decides he wants to help Butch DeFeo because, after all, those horrible spirits that drove George and Kathy and the family from the house are probably the reason that DeFeo murdered his
What
family.
a flipping moron.
Okay, so that's where I start to go, okay, Lutz's, what's up here?
Yeah, George, goodbye.
So, anyways, the DeFeos, not the DeFeos, I'm sorry, George Lutz contacts William Weber, who is DeFeo's attorney. William Weber, is fielding offers for a book at this time. So William Weber is trying to figure out how am I gonna publish this story, right? So William Weber agrees to sit down with the Lutzes, and this is what William Weber says. He essentially says they had a creative writing session, and that after a few bottles of wine, it seemed like they were just kind of adding details of what could be found in a horror book. So in other words, William Weber is saying, yeah, I sat there and listened to their bullshit. I never believed them, but hell, I'm trying to get this book deal together. So I don't think much of him. I don't think much of him at all. Eventually, the Lutzes do not end up in any kind of agreement with Weber. They actually, it's Jay Anson who writes the book. Weber does his own thing, but he does try to sue the Lutzes. I don't know exactly when he tries to sue the Lutzes, but there's some $60 million that actually come from books and proceeds from the movie. He doesn't get much of it. I don't remember the exact amount. I'd have to go back and recheck my facts. But out of 60 million, he doesn't get a whole lot. It kind of seemed a waste. He probably spent more money suing than the money that he recouped. But he was bitter. But he claims that things were embellished. And one of the details that now George Lutz even admits this. So supposedly some weird like gelatin-like substance was appearing on the carpet.
Gross.
And after the meeting with Weber, it was green slime. And let's make it that it came from a demon. So George admits that detail was embellished, but everything else is true, supposedly. But anyway, now to add to this, so the Lutzes, there was Daniel and Christopher, and I don't know the girl's name, but there were 3 children. So Kathy had 3 children from a previous marriage. She married George, so all that was true, whatever we saw in the movies. So George was a stepfather. So Danny Lutz was apparently a troubled kid, and he left home at 15. I don't question. He left home. He claims George was terribly abusive and that George was into satanic practices. Now I don't know if this is true.
No.
Okay. Now I don't know if I believe it either, but he says that George's occultism is actually what caused the hauntings.
Oh.
Danny reported seeing George doing some weird things, like ceremonial kind of things. Danny also said that one time he and George looked up into the window and they saw what appeared to be a cartoonish character that looked like an angry pig with wolf-like teeth in his sister's window. I don't know what that's about.
That's bizarre.
Danny says that he and his brother Chris also had levitation experiences. And Danny claimed that at one point he believed he was possessed by a demonic spirit, much like Reagan in The Exorcist. I don't know. So apparently there's a documentary that was done on Daniel Lutz too. I have never seen that. Maybe I'll check it out now. But so how in the movie we were like, okay, George kind of seemed like an asshole. We're like, is this true? Remember how the Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, not really so much in the original, but in the Ryan Reynolds one, that characterization sounds more like what Danny Lutz is saying here. So I don't know if that's true, but Danny Lutz apparently hated George. Anyway, but that's just an additional fact that I found today. I didn't know any of this about George and occultism. Again, who knows? But anyways, so you might be wondering, what happened to the house? Have other people lived in the house? And the answer is yes. At least 4 families since the Lutzes have lived there. None of them have ever experienced anything paranormal. At least they haven't reported it. Now, interestingly, they did change the address because it was requested by, so it's no longer, what is it, 110?
1122.
112 Ocean Avenue. So apparently they did change the address. In 2016, the house was up for sale for $850,000, which is kind of a low price for the type of home that it is, probably in that location. I don't know what it is now in 2020. I don't know if someone's currently living there. But yeah, there have been multiple owners, and no one has ever reported anything paranormal. And I would think that you would.
Something would have
I would think that you
happened.
would, if something did happen. But um,
Yeah, that's so weird that, like, first of all, that's a shit ton of money, $850,000. And no offense, I don't care what anyone says. I'm not living in a house where somebody was murdered.
well, that's
It's one thing, like, if someone dies there, like, like
yeah,
old age or
yeah.
whatever. It's another thing to die from a gruesome, gruesome murder.
And here's me, because I have so much anxiety as it is about things. I feel that with my personality, that would constantly be on my mind.
Yeah.
I would drive myself crazy. I would be the person awakening at 3:15 and just like out of my mind. I would do it to myself. It wouldn't even matter if I saw a ghost or anything weird happen. In my own brain, I'm like, that's all I would think about every night would be the horrible thing that happened. So I think you're just playing with fire. You move into a place where somebody was murdered. Um, I just think that bad energy hangs around,
Yeah, it definitely
and I
does.
think at the very least it's going to bring you down, and it's just like you can feel the bad energy. So whether or not you want to believe in the haunting, it's terrifying to me that somebody would go live in that house after that happened. So yeah, but I don't know. So I don't know about the Kathy Lutz and George Lutz. I watched a couple of interviews, and I can't remember who the guy was. So this is like 1977ish. One of the popular journalists at the time, and George and Kathy are both really soft spoken, and they're relaying their story, and the interviewers like just kept coming after him, like, yeah, but, and it was just kind of funny because he was just totally, on air, really just trying to, discredit them, and they just were so calm and soft spoken, and nothing seemed to rattle them, and but
So weird.
yeah. So I think it's a mixed bag. I think, there are the people who believe and the people who said, no, it's a sham, it's a hoax, they needed money, whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, for real, for real.
Needless to say, the DeFeo murder, it's just that's what really sticks with me. And the thing is, everybody loves a good haunting, right? Maybe not
Yeah.
everybody. So I think that the haunting overshadows the horrible thing that happened, because let's face it, when you think of Amityville, you think of the house and the movie. You don't think of immediately the DeFeos. And
Yeah.
at least I didn't.
Yeah.
So I think that the haunting might be overshadowing that, and that's not really right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, are we doing another Amityville episode?
No, I don't think we really need to.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think we decided to do something else. I
yeah.
think I don't remember. It's on the
No,
calendar.
I
I
mean,
don't
unless
remember.
there's new evidence, I think I've kind of wrapped up my investigation of this whole thing. I
Yeah.
I didn't get as much as I didn't get in excess.
Yeah.
But I know more now than here's the thing. I know more now than I did when I started. So
That's a good one.
I learned something, and I shared it with you all out there.
I shared it
Shared
with
it
you.
with you. Shared
With
it
all three of
with
you.
all three of you. Again, my mom probably already. Our moms knew.
Our
probably,
moms and Katie.
mom.
Oh, Katie's fine with it.
Well, yeah, we're
No, I've said it twice, so yeah. I mean, Katie's a generic name.
Katie. Really, her name is Debbie, but we
Really, her name is Merlin. I don't know. Anyway, so thanks for listening. This is weird. If you want to send us scary stories, haunting stories, fake scary stories, any kind of scary things, scary objects, scary things.
Yes.
Oh, we do talk about scary objects later in the month. But send us stories, please, to our Gmail, which is 31, like the number 31, nights of scary shit at gmail.com. Yeah, if no one sends us an email, it's kind of lame because all I'm getting right now is junk mail.
Yeah.
But like, it's okay. So anyway, thanks for listening. We really appreciate
and
it.
tell your friends.
Oh, tell everybody, please.
I'm sure you have more friends than I do. So
you definitely have more friends than me.
Yeah, I mean, I told a few people. Yeah, it's lame. It's like I said, I'm leaving it up to my mom to tell her friends.
I mean, hopefully,
and my teenage nieces, maybe they have some friends. I'm sure they do. But
literally, I think my mom won't listen to this. Maybe she'll listen to it. If you're listening to it,
I
Mom,
think she'll
I
try
love
at least one. I
you.
think she'll try at least one. Now she might be put off by it. I don't
I
know.
think she might be upset with my swearing. Sorry, Mom. If you're not listening, whatever. At first split second, I was like, oh no, I called my mom out. It's Mom. There's everyone that's a mom
Yeah.
is usually called Mom. Anyway, so thanks for listening. Bye, friends.